It's another exciting episode of Cats on Guard. I am your Captain MC Howe.
I'm Captain Richard Million.
And we are going to tell you all the secrets from the flight deck, all the things you've ever wanted to know. If you want to become pilot, crew member, flight attendant, gate agent, I don't know how to do that, but the others I can tell you about.
I can tell you how to fly cargo. I can tell you how to fly passengers. I can tell you how to fly paper airplanes. You just write us an email.
catsonguard@gmail.com. Let's fly. Well, I had another first this week.
Which is?
You know, the last time I had I got put on the no-fly list by the vapor, which that's driving me nuts. The more I think about that, and the more I talk about it, I'm so annoyed that this happened. What?
Is vaping allowed on the podcast?
Probably, yeah.
You're gonna no-fly me?
Go right ahead. Are you go? Oh my God, there it is. Oh my God! Look at you! Look at you!
I'm on the Joe Rogan podcast now. Look at me go.
If he had been that obvious about it, with a big giant cloud of smoke enveloping him, like I just saw in front of you, I don't know how did I miss it for 3 days. But you know, I was telling you about Reddit the other day, and somebody posted a Reddit about this exact thing. Like, what would you do if your co-pilot was vaping? So I had to chime in. I had to tell the story. And I get 2 responses to mine, which I will admit I kind of went off on it because so many people were like, "Oh, it's no big deal. We do it all the time, you know." and plenty of people were acting correctly about it, and I was just like, I cannot believe how many of you don't think it's a big deal. You all suck.
I mean, if you lit up a cigarette, it would be a lot bigger of a deal.
I guess, but man, rules are rules. But yeah, I had another first the other day, and for me, this one was, I think, worse. I had to do the walk of shame the other day.
What's the walk of shame?
You know the walk of shame. The aft
lav?
The aft lav. So the forward lav was broken. The one right behind our flight deck was broken. And I had this plane 2 days in a row, one day all the way out across the country, did a transcontinental. And I was just like, you know what? I'm not drinking. I'm going to hold it. And I am not walking back there. And I made it. The other guy, he took 2 trips to the back. Not me. I had, what is that? Bladder of steel. I just didn't fill it up. We ended up with the same plane coming home. Going the other direction. Now, but we're going west to east. So
tailwind.
Super tailwind, 150 knots.
Nice.
We were doing a 4-hour block in under 3 hours. And
that's cool.
It was glorious. The only problem was whatever I ate that day was not going to make it all the way to our destination. So we're okay though. We're going fast and we'll make it. And then snowstorms and airport was closed. It was closed for like a while. And we held, and I'm holding, and we held, and I'm holding. And eventually it just got to the point where I had to go. I just couldn't. Thankfully, it was a red eye, and most everybody was asleep. Because I learned this too. This is my first time ever walking to the back of the airplane to use a restroom for any reason. And everybody's asleep. And also, when you're in the back of that airplane, they're all facing the other direction. So nobody's like watching you go in and setting their timer. So, yeah, it was, I guess a notch in my belt, maybe. I don't know if that's how I want to.
So the walk of shame for those of you at home. Everybody on the plane knows that what you're doing that you went to the bathroom, and hopefully they don't know whether it was number 1 or number 2. But sometimes you can't avoid that.
Yeah, sometimes everybody knows.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm Captain Richard Million.
And I am your co-captain, MC Howe.
Welcome back to Cats on Guard.
Welcome back. Yes, it's
So that was the walk of shame.
right. And
What is it? So that's a funny bathroom one because that's in the airplane. But what about all the other bathrooms we have to see? We have the lobby of the hotel bathroom for those that can't make it to their room.
Oh gosh, can you imagine if it's that bad?
No, it's not. I do that anyway because I don't want to stink up my room.
Oh,
I
okay.
hit that before the elevator. Say, hey, let's put the lobby bathroom through the torture, and then I get to go to my normal smelling room.
Well, that brings up an interesting point because I've discovered a few secret lobby bathrooms around
Oh,
airports. Some
okay.
airports, some airports have a hotel built into them, and you can access some of these without even leaving security.
It's got to be a much better bathroom than the bathroom in the terminals.
Oh, it's and in a couple of cases, you don't even know it's there. I've stumbled onto them. Like no one should ever discover this based on where it is, but I have. And if I have a couple hours to kill and I gotta go, or it's something I can get to, that's my spot.
Have you ever gone through the McNamara terminal in DTW and found the
Um,
secret under escalator
is
bathrooms?
that the big fancy one they built like 25 something years? I know.
It's the main Delta terminal at DTW, but
Wait, there's secret where? Under tunnel? Did you say?
so when you're walking into the airport, you won't see them because they're behind your shoulder as you exit security. But on your way out of the airport, you won't see them either because they're covered by the diagonal escalators from the third floor.
Oh, that's a clever hiding
So on
spot.
the exit level, pro tip, right before everyone coming out of security into the airport, you walk past them and hook a hard right, and there's two secret bathrooms under the escalators.
Yeah, but if it's right next to the exit, isn't everybody exiting going to
No,
see them?
no, they go down the middle escalators that go straight down to their bag claim, and then they
Oh,
use the bag claim bathrooms, which are disgusting.
okay. I
Everybody has
see.
rushed to go get their bag, but they couldn't hold it, or they're waiting for their bag and they go use the bathroom there. But hey, while we're on that, when
Yeah.
can they just step up the toilet paper in these airport bathrooms? Oh,
Yeah. Normally it's that giant roll. Like I don't even know where these giant rolls are manufactured, like the size of a car tire, that kind of a
they
roll.
are. But I just use 3 times as much. Just put the good stuff in there, or
Well,
even medium grade.
maybe you need to travel with your own. Like I carry my own pillow with me.
Yeah. Hmm. I
No.
think there are probably some people out there that might.
Yes, smart people do. Seasoned travelers. Now, I don't know about that one, but long time ago, I was based in DCA in Washington, D.C., and there was a lot of construction going on at that terminal. Like half the terminal was closed, like there was no fly-in going on, but you had to walk through that to get to the between the parts that were operating
Okay.
and completely in, useful, functioning bathrooms that nobody used, nobody knew about, just walk by. I'm like, that's my go-to spot there. Yeah. So every airport that I frequent, I try to find, if there's time, I'll try to find one.
This is an interesting topic to have a whole episode about. I just can't believe there's going to be enough material about bathrooms and work.
I have a feeling when we put this together, I thought, yeah, okay, maybe we'll get 20, 30 minutes. If we're not done talking after an hour, I'm going to be shocked.
There'll be more. Well,
Yeah.
I could go on.
Oh, sure.
So
I mean,
tell me about another bathroom experience at the airport.
at the airport or in the sky?
And let's do in the sky. We are pilots.
Well, I mean, at the airport, I'll tell you this. I can remember one time when I was a flight attendant, I used to get sick when I would start flying. My body just wasn't used to the motion of the plane, and especially when you're sitting in the back of those airplanes, on the back of those old smelly DC-9s and 727s, and you're between those motors that are so loud, and there's a bathroom right back there, and it's so smelly and loud, and the movement is just awful, and I would get sick, like throw up
Hmm.
sick. And I remember having that happen a lot of times until your body eventually
So you
gets
just
used
like
to it. You get
vomit
over it.
into the sink, or how does
Yeah.
that work?
Well, hopefully not into the sink. There's a toilet. Yeah.
Oh, you went for the toilet. Oh, I wouldn't put
You
my
go
face
for the
anywhere near
toilet. You
those
don't go for the
toilets.
toilet?
Where do you steady your hands around the toilet?
Um, I don't know. Maybe I just
No,
had
because you
really.
know how many missed aiming happens around that toilet?
I
Like, it's not
guess.
just the seat that's dirty. Oh, gross.
I don't know. I
I
do
bet you
know
there was
this.
no hand sanitizer on
I'll
those
tell you
planes
what.
back then.
Talk about steadying yourself. I don't know about you, but every time we're in flight, I take a bathroom break and I leave the other guy flying the plane. He manages to either find the only turbulence that we've had that day, and I suddenly, um, my aim is off all of a sudden. Yeah, so that
Yeah, that
happens.
that tends to it's like a curse. They know the air knows that there's somebody trying to use the bathroom, and they need to get back up there. Now they have to clean their hands.
You know, my trick is the the fuselage, the curve of the airplane is such
Yeah.
that I just lean forward a little bit and I rest my head against the wall there,
Oh my gosh, you
and I'm
foreheaded.
steady. Yeah, I forehead it.
Wow, you're tripoding.
Well, years of service, that'll teach you a few tricks.
Oh boy,
Tripod.
tripoding. There you go.
Well, surely in your freight days, you've had some. Did those planes you used to fly
Oh,
have a
so
bathroom?
here's the crazy thing. It took me over a decade before I got onto a plane that had a lav in our fleet. So the 727 was the only plane in our fleet that had a lav, and so all the female pilots gravitated toward that aircraft, so they had an actual lab to use.
Wait,
On the other aircraft,
what was the other
we had what's
aircraft?
called a throne. We had DC-9s, MD-80s, Falcon 20s, we had
Tell
a
me
bunch of
about.
other planes on and off, but
Tell me about the throne.
okay, so the throne is a Home Depot bucket, or
Oh my
maybe
God!
Lowe's.
What?
And it has a snap-on toilet seat. So you put a trash bag
Oh
in the
no!
bucket. Well, okay, so if it was number one, we'd use those big mouth Gatorade bottles that held 32 ounces.
Oh,
I learned something about myself. That's not enough for a full bladder for me. I have more than 32-ounce bladder.
30 in one go?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm talking switching bottles midstream.
Hmm.
Um, but or I could just go more frequently.
I'm
There's
trying to
that
think of
too.
the size of a 32-ounce bottle.
So you know when you're at the gas station, there's regular Gatorades that like fit in your hand, like the way you're holding that cup. And then there's
Yes.
the ones that are like kind of bottlenecked, like a vase, like a vase for flowers,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a little wider mouth to them,
Okay.
for fitting.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So those bottles, 32 ounces, and usually another empty just for a little overflow of a few ounces.
Good Lord.
Um, so here's how we did it. And the Falcon 20 is like a medium sized, a small sized corporate jet. They converted the inside to freight. We could carry some boxes. So what we'd do is we'd go on the back, and there's this big old cargo net that would stop, allegedly, freight from coming through the front in the event that we crashed. We'd hook our arm through to steady ourselves because there's nothing really to grab onto in a cargo plane. And then you'd either get down on a knee or just you just have to pin yourself to something. And one hand to steady yourself, one hand to hold the bottle.
Do you
So
get
that's how we
nervous?
number one.
Do you get nervous when that, you have to make that switch or
Well, the nervous part was standing next to a 40-year-old cargo door in a pressurized aircraft. It had nothing to do with the pee.
okay.
The floor was filthy. The walls are filthy. The net's filthy. Everything's covered in freight dust.
It's
So
all
if you
gonna
miss,
it's all gonna get sucked up by the flight attendant in their ice, right?
actually, I got a good one for you. So somebody was pouring their pee bottles out of the plane in flight because the cargo door was so crappy. It had all these dents and bumps from forklifts hitting it.
Oh
Or
geez.
it would suck the liquid right out of the plane.
Well, that's kind of
So
actually convenient,
it
right?
is, except for the part where it freezes down the ridge of the cargo door on its way out the plane in minus 60 or whatever it is out there. And then when you land in a freezing territory, it's still frozen to the door.
I had a job, one of my first jobs. They had 402s or 421s. Those are both airplanes, right?
Yep,
Cessna,
twin Cessnas.
twin Cessna, 10 seats, something like that.
Okay.
And they had a throne also for the passengers to use, which
Oh no,
basically just a passenger seat that flipped up and there was a toilet
oh,
underneath.
a belted potty seat. Yeah, those are in a
Exactly
lot of
what it
those
was.
small
Yeah,
twins.
maybe
Yeah.
maybe there was like a curtain or something for privacy.
Yep.
But apparently it had a dump feature. You flip a switch and it all goes over the
Oh, the
side.
relief tube.
Yeah, but then it had, use that blue juice that
Yep.
goes in there and it would just stream down the side of the outside of the plane. So
You knew that
there
was
was like,
pee.
yeah, there was an added blue stripe that wasn't there when you
Oh,
took off.
ooh. So this throne on the DC-9 MD-80s, I knew that if you peed, you went in the bottle, but like nobody wanted to use the throne. Like nobody wanted to go number two. Just wait till you land to deal with it. But sometimes you can't make it, right?
No, I know.
So, so those that did had to clean up and bag up their own stuff, like
You
a
better
dog.
clean up your own.
Well, yeah, I know. There's no like,
It's
so
not the
your
job
hand.
for the flight engineer, is it?
No, it's not. But it's crazy that
Golly.
you're like, here you are, like twist tying your own bag shut, and then where do you leave it, right? Like, where do you leave it? You know, they leave it right next to the stairs to the cargo door.
Yeah,
And then we'd
unless,
have to walk. You want to talk about walk of shame? How about walking your own poop in a
okay,
plastic bag down the air stairs to the jet bridge?
that does sound awful.
Oh, that's a
Um,
walk of shame, I tell you. Even though there's not many people to see it.
it reminds me, now this is not my story. This happened to somebody else when I was a flight instructor down in Florida. Used to do all our maneuvers out over the Florida Everglades, which, you know, nothing but swamps and alligators out there. Somebody was flying. They had a student that just had an attack all of a sudden, right then and there. And, it's like you can't just go land, especially over the Everglades. There's nothing
Yeah,
out there. So
yeah.
it's not like you can make a beeline to the nearest airport, and there was no time to make one. So the instructor tells me the story. He was like, I grabbed the sick bag. I said, get in the back seat, take care of it. And then he did. And he's like, well, standing there holding the bag. What am I supposed to do with it?
Yeah.
Open the window, toss it to the alligators from
All
4,000
right.
feet. Yeah, that's one
Yeah.
answer. That's one
Yeah.
solution.
Well, hopefully that's biodegradable. I'm sure it is. We didn't hurt the
It's
Everglades. No
guarantee it.
Everglades were hurt in the making of
I
that.
guarantee that bag is still out there somewhere.
All 6X are biodegradable. So I had this one flight in a small 4-seat airplane, and we went down to Venice Beach, Florida. Pretty cool airplane. It made it as a Columbia 300. It got into Venice Beach, Florida.
You know
And
what?
I went with, yeah,
In a what airplane?
nonstop in a Columbia.
I don't know what a Columbia is, but that's okay.
It looks like a Cirrus.
All right.
That's a 4-seat, really fast piston airplane, 300 horsepower. You get that thing up at altitude and it's sipping fuel. I think we were burning 11.5 gallons per hour, doing 175 knots. And we had enough fuel to go to Key West and still have an hour and a half fuel remaining. It was an awesome airplane. So we know we're doing this flight. We know it's going to be 5-ish hours. We know we're going to be peeing an airplane. But I mean, you're talking shoulder to shoulder with somebody. That's like sitting in row 10A and 10B together, but still having to use the bathroom.
Yeah.
So we had the agreement. Okay, so you're going to get up, turn around on your knees in the seat. You're going to pee in the Gatorade bottle. Again, where do we put it, right?
You're able to get up and turn around on your knees?
Barely. It was a tight squeeze, but yes. And then the other person just had to just, not look. And so, yeah, we were filling those 32-ounce Gatorade bottles. Or look, yeah, we weren't that close. So
at the end of the flight, you were.
we had the bottles stacked up in the backseat floor. You tighten that cap real tight. I don't need it spilling on the floor of this airplane.
What if you don't bring enough? What if you don't bring enough bottles?
Oh, well, so here's the thing. When we left, we had these coolers packed with liquid. So I had 2 empties each, plus all the liquids we were going to drink on the way down.
Oh, no.
So we knew whatever in goes out, right? Plus a little extra.
What a horrible thing to have to prepare. Like, that's just part of it. You're going to go out and have a fun day out, but this is part of it. And you know that.
So we have, for my my general aviation kit, these like bags. They're like empty bags, but they have like diaper crystals in them. Have you heard of these?
No.
They're absorbent bags to pee in, and you don't have to worry about them leaking or spilling. So, and they come with like a female sized adapter that would go over the female parts, but then also you can pee into it as a male, and it fills with water, but then the water mixes with the gel and it solidifies. Same thing that's inside a baby diaper.
I was going to say, this sounds like the thing they use on the space shuttle.
Yeah, probably. And you can buy them for camping, boating, airplanes. So we keep a few of those as emergency ones in our flight bags.
All right. Well, good planning. That's why I don't fly off the clock. I don't have to make those sort of plans. I like a nice, comfortable room with a door I can close.
So where's the weirdest place that you've had to use the airplane bathroom?
The weirdest place I've had to use the airplane bathroom
or airport bathroom
is the airplane.
Yeah. You haven't like had a certain place that sets you off. I
Set
tend to. So if I leave South Texas, right? We used to go to South Texas a lot. We always eat a lot of Mexican food. So it was like, oh man, whenever we leave, I gotta know that the next stop after we see South Texas is gonna be a bathroom stop. Hopefully we have
Mhm.
enough. Not in the air. I don't want to do that in the air.
No, that's the worst. Nobody ever wants to go there. You will go to your grave if possible before ever doing that. Yeah. No. I can't think of a strange a place that sets me off. But sometimes the breakfast food will get me. And, you eat those hotel eggs. That I love breakfast food though, and I hate paying for it. I do believe breakfast should always be free, but when it's available and it is free, I'm gonna load up on that egg buffet.
Would you call that egg? I mean, it's like a.
No, I'm calling it eggs, and I know it's not because of the reaction that I have later on so many occasions when I think to myself, why didn't I just get the cereal? I'd have been
You could
so
have had
happy, right?
yogurt. You could have made a parfait with fruit and
No,
granola, but no.
yeah, I go for those eggs and the bacon and the sausage, and sometime
Well,
later there's gurgling coming up. It's like,
in,
and the worst is when like you're at the gate, and it sometimes you have enough time. I'm gonna go make a run inside before we leave before we push back. I gotta run in and check something, and then okay, good, you got time to take care of it. But
that
sometimes,
never works for me. Every time I say I'm going to run and do it, something happens and it goes back up in. And I can't. I don't know. I can't perform under pressure. I guess
or you maybe there's a little
it's because I
hint.
know I need to that it won't go. I don't know.
There's a
Should I
little
see a
there's
doctor about that?
Yes, you should. There's a little hint that it's coming, but then you kind of brush it off. And, no, it's not that, and then you push back, and then there's a delay, some sort of a delay, like de-icing or just air traffic flow, and you're holding forever. You haven't even taken off yet. No,
Oh yeah.
you're on the ground. You're taxiing around. Airplane could move at any moment, and you got to be there in case. But what do you got to go? Sometimes you got
No.
to go. You ever take?
Oh,
I've never done this. I've never done it on the ground, but I've I've felt the need.
I think I may have done it on the ground before. I
I know it
trying to think
happens.
back.
I know it
Yeah, it
happens.
happened to me. It definitely happened to me because I remember it being awkward for me and the other person. Like, you gotta stop everything. Tell air traffic control. No, one of the crew members has to get up. Uh, yeah, we need
Yeah,
to go to some delayed taxi route, and then sit still for
and
two
then
minutes.
they come back. Do you need any assistance?
Well, yes, I do actually.
Taking a roll of fire trucks.
Oh gosh, you know what kills me too though in the terminals, like when you're in a long layer or not even a long, but like just a plane change or something, you got to jump in the bathroom and you go right. Then you go to wash your hands, and those sinks with the proximity sensors,
The
they need to
ones that
standardize
fire,
those
the
things.
ones that fire like a fire hose. Those ones.
No, no, the ones that like you put your hand under and you want water. Like they
Yeah,
don't have they don't have on lever anymore. They
well,
don't do levers in bathrooms. Now
because it's the Starship Enterprise.
yeah, so you ever go in there and you're like, oh man, I gotta go, right? So you go real quick and then you're like, I'm gonna shoot back to the airplane. Okay, let me go wash my hands. You get your soap in your hands and then you get in the sink and you're like, you're doing this wave thing. Or you're
Oh
like, come
yeah,
on,
and the
water, come
water's
on.
not coming out.
No, you're like, oh, do I gotta go closer? Do I go further? Let me come up,
Yeah,
down, up. It's
no,
like trying to put a
yeah,
cheat code into a PlayStation. You're
I
left,
know.
right, up, down, and no water, right? And then you're like, maybe it's the sink, right? And you
So
go
you
to
go
the
to the
other sink
next
and
thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
this is ridiculous. Just give me
or
water.
Or how about the ones that have like a bank of sinks, like 5 sinks in a row, and the only soap they put is on a far wall, like
Yes.
on one
Oh,
wall. There's only one dispenser for those
so
five
like
sinks.
everyone's like awkwardly crowding to get
Yeah,
soap.
yeah.
Or there's that one guy that looks at all of you and goes, nah, and just walks out without it.
I've flown with that guy. Yeah. Or
So
or
funny story. I've gotten the side eye so much, but some airports I know that there's hand sanitizer on that like that walking in vestibule out like
mm,
between the bathroom and the terminal, and I
hmm
know there's a hand sanitizer dispenser there. I'll take hand sanitizer over fighting with those electric sinks any
yeah,
day. So I do look like the no washer, like as I'm walking out, like
yeah.
and everyone's giving me the stink eye.
Well,
And
don't you
but I don't
in the
like declare to myself that I'm gonna go to the like, hey everybody, it's okay, I'm going to the hand sanitizer. Like,
well maybe you should, but in the post-COVID world, don't we all have hand sanitizer in our pocket now?
no, you.
Oh, yeah. Well, in my bag, I have it in my flight kit.
I have a couple wipes for like a really like a messy situation, or my hands are sticky, but I don't have it in my pocket. Like it's
Yeah.
not like my
And in fact,
keys.
actually, I pulled out my hand sanitizer yesterday and it was a lot less full than it was the previous time I pulled it
Oh,
out. So
okay.
I should probably dig down and find the rest of it.
Yeah. Well, you know what's always in my pocket, mister?
You can
There's no
go,
hand sanitizer, but there's
no,
a vapey stick.
you need to sanitize your lungs after that.
It's vegetable oil and nicotine. You'll be
Reminds me,
okay.
it's very off topic, but digging around in my bag one day, I had a thumb drive for my laptop
Oh,
in there
okay.
and it was gone. I couldn't find it. I was sure I lost it on a plane, tearing the whole place apart. Gone. A year later, I found it buried at the bottom of my bag, covered in chocolate.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like melted chocolate?
Uh-huh.
And you didn't notice the melted chocolate either?
Nope.
How did that
I,
get?
I
How did those
I
two get
never
together?
I never dug down that far.
Were you at an Olive Garden? They gave you those little chocolates at the end that they give you, and that sat
No.
next to your stick.
No, but I was in an Olive Garden recently and they did give us those little chocolates. It was a big
How
hit.
many did they give you?
Like 7, 8
Oh, really? Okay,
for 3
because
people.
they're apparently rationing them.
Well, I haven't heard about that. Maybe they need
They
to
used to have a bowl of them at the counter that you could just grab a handful on your way out. Because I love
really.
snacking on those on the way home. That was dessert for me.
You know what? I
And I
flew with
went
a
by, so
guy.
where's the bowl of mints? The chocolatey mints. And they were like, oh, we give them to you at the check now. And I was like, really? Like one each?
Oh,
Really?
geez, that's
Look at this
stingy.
tip. Look at this tip. He goes, here's 12 of them. Like,
By the
that's
way,
what I'm talking about,
yeah.
buddy. Oh, I got to tell you. So, hey, speaking of those chocolate minty snacks, I had a snack in flight the other day that did not sit well with me.
Oh
And,
dear.
and I knew about this, right? Those of you at home probably heard in the other episode. I'm diabetic, right? So I have to have a lot of sugar-free items if I'm going to snack, and it's going to low carb, low sugar. It helps the blood thing. So, I had these, I had like sugar-free gummy bears and like sugar-free sucking candies to like go get the sweet tooth out. Well, sugar-free Twizzlers are
Oh,
now my mortal enemy. They're
that sounds horrible.
delicious. They're
No, they can't
delicious.
be. Sugar
Try
free,
them.
nothing. Nothing sugar
Try
free is
them. But
delicious.
I'm telling you, try no more than 3 sticks at a time,
Yes.
because the chemical sweetener in Twizzlers is like a super laxative.
Oh, geez.
So I have a couple of pieces of Twizzlers. I said, oh, this is good. And we start down to land. So I put the Twizzlers in my bag. I forget about them. Next flight, we have a 4-hour flight. And I was like, oh, I've got this bag of sugar-free Twizzlers sitting next to me. Well, I'm hungry. I'll snack. So I ate like the other 7/8 of the bag in one sitting, which is apparently like 4 doses of laxative at one time. So we're on descent. Probably have 20 minutes left in the flight, and I have 3 minutes left in my rear end. And I had to do the it wasn't a walk of shame because no one could see me do it. Like the crew has their own lav. But
Yeah.
boy, was I so disappointed. Be like, hey, like don't land. I got to get up. Slow the
Yeah.
plane down. Don't descend as fast. And yeah, it was a 3 bathroom visit. It was once in the air on the way down, immediately after we landed in the FBO bathroom, and immediately in the lobby of the hotel. So like there was no choice. Everybody knew what was going on. And what, are you okay, man? How's your stomach doing? What's going on? Are you getting sick? No, I ate sugar-free Twizzlers.
Oh
Like,
my
what
God.
an embarrassing thing to have to tell your coworkers.
That is the most embarrassing excuse, too. Sugar
Well,
free
I ate
Twizzlers.
sugar-free. Yes.
Yeah. Come on.
I'd rather have lied and said it was food poisoning, right? Just lie.
Exactly. Now, it reminds me of it. I used to go down to Lima, Peru a little bit here and there.
Okay.
I always had really good food when I'd go down there. Everywhere I ate, good food. Except the one time I ate in the hotel restaurant. I don't remember why I chose that, but I did. And the food was okay until it was time to fly home. Now,
Oh,
6-hour flight back to America.
what'd you eat?
Probably a steak, some sort of
Okay.
a South American something or other steak.
Yeah, delicious Latin food.
Usually, yeah. Laxative is the word. And 3 times, yeah, same thing. 3 times in those 6 hours.
Wow,
And,
in flight.
in flight. So, yeah,
So that means that the flight
the
attendants
flight attendants had to come up. They got to set it up. And they, they're standing right there next to the door.
What is? So tell the folks at home setting it up for those of you that aren't in the air crew
So
world.
in the post 9/11 world, cockpit safety is paramount. So flight attendants, when they get a call from us that, hey, we need to take a bathroom break, they okay, we'll set. And this is driving me nuts. And I went off the other day. She called me up because they always call you up. Hey, do you guys need anything? You need to take a break? Yeah, actually, I could use a break. That's perfect timing. Okay, we'll let you know when it's ready. Okay, first of all, you got to know that more than 50% of the time when you call and ask us if we need a break, we're going to need a break. So why not have it set up and ready to go, or be ready? Instead, they call us when there's a line of people. There's somebody already in the bathroom. There's a line of people ready to go. So now we have to wait. Now my bladder is getting excited because I know the time is near and it's jumping for joy, ready to empty itself. And now I have to wait because
it's true.
She did
If
not.
they didn't tell you, if they didn't say, "Hey, are you ready?" Then your bladder gets excited. I totally know what you mean with that. Like,
So
you're
I brought
this. It's time, but it's not time. It's 6 to 7 minutes from time, maybe sometimes.
Yeah. So I brought this up in flight the other day after this happened. After I went out, I guess she said to the FO, she's like, "Is he really mad about this?" He's like, "Oh, he's so mad. He can't believe how mad he is."
There's some common sense, but you know what? Then there's those people that don't go, like the ones where you were Superman and didn't go. So every time they did you set a bad precedent by not accepting the break.
Yeah, and setting precedent. One time I asked for a Coke Zero. Like, I don't even like Coke Zero. I don't know. I think I was trying to drink healthy Coke. And this flight attendant,
healthy Coke is full of chemicals, dude.
Yeah. So I asked for one.
The sugar's probably better for you than the chemicals that make it taste like sugar.
I asked for one Coke Zero one time, and every time, and this guy was with me for like 3 days, and he had a Coke Zero sitting on my tray table before every flight.
Nice.
I guess.
That means they're paying attention.
Yeah,
that's a
more
really
than
nice
I ever do. That's true. Anyway, setting up for the bathroom break means they pull a cart out, and
an obstruction.
An obstruction. It's a barricade that they place between the aisle and the galley, so that you cannot get, if you're an evildoer, as George Bush used to say, you cannot do your evil while the pilot is out of the flight deck.
Sorry, let's go with some TSA logic here. There's a 3-foot barrier in a 6-foot tube that's going to barricade safety.
Well, think about it. If you're gonna have to hurdle this 3-foot barrier, and you're gonna have to squinch your body up to get your frame between the 3 feet at the top of this barrier and the 6-foot.
True.
Height. So,
although to be fair, I haven't seen any like obese terrorists on the TV. They all seem pretty capable of leaping over a 3-foot barrier
and easily taking down the obese pilots.
True.
Yeah. So, the barrier comes out, and a flight attendant has to go into the flight deck. One of the flight attendants. I'm not sure how this works on some of these regional planes don't have.
We have one flight attendant.
Yeah.
That's it. I wonder. No, there's
trying to remember.
Somebody email us the real procedure. I know you're listening.
Yeah, I know we used to do it when I had that job, but I guess they're out on their own.
No, it doesn't sound right either.
No, it can't be. Maybe not.
I mean, yeah, because in flight you don't need to evacuate.
No. That rule came about after the German wings crash. Do you remember this? So there was a pilot in Germany who, I guess, decided that he was going to end his own life, and took it upon himself
with everyone else.
When the other pilot went to the bathroom, and he was alone in the flight deck, and he took that moment to do it. And so that was the moment that we in America changed the rule to require a flight attendant in the flight deck, so that they can fight any suicidal pilots.
Okay.
So yes, my regional days, we did not have to have a spare body up front.
You want to hear a dark joke?
Oh yeah. Be careful.
He was able to. Yeah, that's right. Don't cancel us out there. Yeah. His greatest fear was dying alone. So.
Oh no, that's terrible. At least you didn't swear. My mother-in-law told me, yes, she was very pleased with our podcast. She's been listening, and she really likes it because we don't swear.
Oh, I mean, occasionally something slips out.
Well, that's why we have an editing button.
It's PG-13.
There you go. There you go. So
We're allowed X amount of minor swear words.
that's it. So on my Airbus, the lavatory is right behind my seat.
Oh, I remember that.
And we
Yes.
talked about, I know we talked about how the air flows from front to back on these airplanes,
Yeah.
but
In the Airbus,
some,
yeah. But you can still
some,
hear it all.
well, I don't know.
I think you can
You,
smell it all too.
you can smell it.
I can
Sometimes you
hear
can
the
smell
toilet
it.
flushing
You can
the
hear it.
forward lav. Yeah. You
Yeah.
can't?
No, but
No, I always heard the lav go in the Airbus.
well, my kids tell me I'm smelly blind,
Oh, good for you.
so maybe I don't smell it. I don't know. There are other things I don't smell.
Yeah, a lot of planes is front to back. My airplane now, Gulfstream, is back to front. So we get the lav and the galley smell. So food's nice to smell, but the other part not so much.
Yeah, well, those are the joys of the job, I guess. The
Yeah, every
glamour part.
airplane's different, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the way you configure your cabin, right? I think certain aircraft operators want like all the air conditioning off, right? When you de-ice or other things with
Yeah,
exhaust fumes
yeah.
or
Been dealing with a
APU
lot of that
starting.
lately. Yep.
So the APU is like the exhaust gases get sucked back into the airplanes in some airplanes, right?
Do they?
I don't know. What do they call it? A fume event at the
Oh yeah,
airlines?
yeah. That's where the exhaust gases and it does some sort of a combination of the chemicals that become quite toxic. Actually,
Yeah,
people have
yeah. Yep.
people have gone to the hospital. I've even heard tell that some people have perished as a result
Oh,
of a fume event.
wow.
Yeah, and they
Yeah, I
say,
never had any of that in my airplane, my current airplane. It's like as soon as the APU's on, you can throw the air switch on and boom, you're good.
yeah, no, it's not a good day if you have that.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't remember any sort of fume warnings on the corporate airplanes, but
Well, sometimes there are fumes that you don't get a warning, and you have to look at the person next to you and you say, "Did you do that?"
so we used to have the solution for that in the cargo planes was to turn the floor air off and the defroster on.
Oh, strange.
So like the air from the floor, we usually push warm air because it's cold outside, right?
Yeah.
So warm air rises, so your farts would come up with the warm air, and then the defroster would blow air from the top, like up the windshield, and then
Oh,
down
like
behind
in your
you.
car.
Yeah. So basically, by killing the floor air and turning the defrost on, it would blow the smell up and behind you and keep it, and then it would go back, right? Because most of the air goes front to back in most airplanes, and that would get the fart smell to go aft,
Oh,
away
wow.
from our faces.
Okay. Well, that's good. I don't know what airplane that was, but in my experience, the Airbus, whatever they make the seats out of, it's a very absorbent material. So I'm very
Oh,
pleased
okay.
about that. Yeah.
Thank you, European Airbus manufacturers.
No complaints there.
Well, yeah, with the amount of Lima food you ate and the amount of South Texas Tex-Mex I ate, I mean, those
Oh my
poor
gosh.
seats. Oh
Yeah.
gosh,
Well, it
yeah.
doesn't
Well,
always, there are moments, of
what
course.
about what about little airplanes? Do you have any little airplane bathroom story? I mean, I had my Columbia
Yeah,
story, right, with
I
the
do. I
Gatorade
do.
bottles.
Um, I, I, I was flight school that I worked for sold an airplane to a guy in California, and we were flying out of South Florida. So they wanted me to. I don't know how I got tapped for this, but they said we need you to fly this airplane and deliver it to this guy. Now this is a Piper Warrior, which is a tiny little airplane with a range of about 4 or 5 hours if you stretch it.
Okay, Piper
Uh,
Warrior. That's four seats, low wing.
4 seats, low wing, single engine airplane, and these were used for private pilot training. So they didn't even have all the instrumentation that you need. Like
No.
we fly. We'll talk about this on another episode about the difference between different terms. But VFR, which is visual flight rules, meaning using your eyeballs to look out the window and see. And then there's instrument flight training, which is, you can go in a cloud. Well, you're not going to see anything inside that cloud. So you need to be able to rely on these instruments and land the plane using the instruments and equipment on the ground to guide you to a landing. Well, this
So
airplane.
instrument flight rules will be more equipment, better equipment in the aircraft.
Yeah, well, again, this airplane that I flew was for private pilots, and private pilots aren't doing instrument flying because they're just lucky to be, in the airplane at that point.
So bare minimum equipment, tiny
Bare
little
minimum equipment.
tuna can aluminum airplane.
And I'm going to fly this plane from South Florida to Van Nuys, California,
No,
which I had planned
it's
was
a
going to
lot of
take.
flying.
I was going to take me 3 days to do this.
Oh,
Oh,
so you're doing
single,
what 100 knots, like 120 miles an hour,
yeah,
4 hours at a time.
and you're going west, so into the
Oh, into the
headwinds.
wind.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, and
how many fuel stops?
well, I don't remember what I
My
planned.
guess is 8.
I'll tell you this: I didn't want to go alone. This was not a trip that I was going to be all He-Man about.
Okay.
Like, I couldn't get another pilot to go. All the other flight instructors, no, they can't go. They're busy flight. I didn't have any pilot friends that were available, so I took my dad.
Oh, cool.
Just because I needed company. So
Yeah.
it was an adventure for the two of us. I
No
picked him
autopilot?
up. No autopilot. Goodness gracious, no.
Fly.
No no GPS back in those days.
Oh, truly flying away your eyes.
So I picked my dad up in Fort Myers,
Oh, cool.
where he lived. We flew to Panama City to get gas. Well,
You didn't
Florida.
leave Florida before you needed gas.
Correct.
You're like a car. Your first fuel stop was in the same state.
You can't fly those tiny little planes. We could have gone across the Gulf of America, but you can't do it in that tiny little airplane. So you gotta hug the coast. So
that's so cool. So you took your dad, and
yeah,
do you follow I-10 the whole way, or what?
basically, yeah.
No.
In fact, I was talking to one of the old crusty mechanic guy. Like, how should it? He goes, you just fly. He goes, what did he say? He's, you file IFR. You just fly IFR. I said, oh, well, this airplane doesn't. No. He
I
goes,
follow roads.
that's it. I-10 all
I've
the
heard
way.
it.
Well, here's the problem. We took off out of Panama City. We hit the clouds at 1,000 feet. Didn't come out of again till El Paso.
Oh, so you're above it the whole time.
No, we were in it the whole time.
Thought you said you were VFR.
We went into the all right. I had enough equipment to fly IFR, but I would not recommend doing it the way I did.
Oh, it was one of those I have, like, barely legal.
Yes.
Okay.
So, my dad and I, we did spend a night in Abilene, Texas, I believe.
Okay.
And we had a delicious meal at Whataburger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, how was that monstrosity of a burger?
Well, it came back.
Oh no!
It came back to get me. We were planning to keep going that day, somewhere further than we went, and that burger said, "You know what? I'm done flying today, and so are you."
Oh,
and I was
it
flying...
the fact that they mix mustard with ketchup down there, or what?
What?
I don't know. They have a weird recipe down there, don't they? Like, they add all the things that you don't get in the northern states, like the onions come on a burger no matter what.
Oh, this was my one and only Whataburger experience. So,
you need to go back, man.
Do I though? Because I'm kind of putting it in the same category as Waffle House, based on these experiences.
You need to avenge your day in the warrior.
No, and the problem is my dad's not a pilot, so it was all me. And it's solid IFR, so I could not. My eyes were just glued to the instruments, no autopilot, so just holding on. And all of a sudden, I gotta go. I really got to get this airplane on the ground and go. And I'm shooting an approach to minimums, which means you're in the clouds until basically
just above the runway.
Just above the runway. And
where did you do your immediate landing?
Maybe this was Abilene. If not, it was somewhere else in Texas. But Texas is a really big place.
Yeah, that's 2 fuel stops for you to get clear to Texas. Yeah.
We landed that plane. I pulled over the FBO. I jumped out, didn't say a word, just left my dad standing there, sitting in the airplane. Just like, I'll see you. I think I saw him half an hour later.
Oh, no.
He goes, I guess we're done for the day, huh? Yeah. So,
that's some cool quality time, though. That would be a really cool trip to have.
Yeah. The problem was I had a job interview for my regional gig lined up in. It was on the way to drop off this airplane, so I was like, I'll just stop and do the interview on the way.
No way. So you planned that out?
Yeah.
And you made it. Plane didn't break down. That's risky business right there.
I know it was. The guy that was buying the plane wasn't happy about it. He was expecting to get the plane a day sooner. But
sorry.
What do you do?
Let him come get the plane and drive it across the country.
Right.
Jeez.
Right.
Oh,
no kidding. Yeah.
It's a lot of flying.
No, but it was a great story to go into that interview with.
Yes, I guess how I got here.
Yeah.
Endeavor eat Whataburger. No, I love Whataburger.
Okay, well, good for you. I guess
you got to go back, man. You can't
go back. I will go back at some point.
And then you're going to report back on Cats on Guard.
And I'm going to tell you
how the return of Whataburger was.
Yeah, and how it returned again.
The return of Whataburger Part 2. Oh, boy.
Yeah, but that's it,
So you delivered your airplane after the job interview. I guess you got the job, right?
I got the job, yeah.
That's cool. Good.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a great adventure.
Huh. I don't have any stories like that. Nobody ever needed me to fly something somewhere.
You don't have any more stories? I guess we're done with the podcast then.
No, we are not done with the podcast. There's endless stories.
We do have endless stories. I tell you what, I'm going to give you a preview coming up. I got into a fight with my wife last night. Not a fight, a discussion. We'll call it a discussion. And she, as we're recording this, it's been quite a number of weeks here in aviation. We're recording this on February 18th, and there have been, unfortunately, a couple of mishaps in the last several weeks.
Too many.
So she was reading the details of one of them last night, and she said the passengers were wandering around on the tarmac and blah, 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 blah. She kept going. Well, I got hung up on that word. And I thought to myself, where in the world is the tarmac? And
Europe, somewhere in Europe.
Where have I ever heard that before? I'll tell you where I've never heard it before. And that is in the course of my job.
In the flight deck, because we don't say that. It's an old, outdated term.
So what do you say?
Google
What do you say on our next program or upcoming program? We are going to dive into all terminology, glossary of aviation terms to let the general public know exactly what the things we're talking about when we say these.
Oh, I totally thought you were going to say our next episode is going to be about fights with our wives. That's a different episode.
You want to have more fights with our wives? We could probably just...
I'm making that episode. Yeah. It's going to make even more
Let's do that.
It's more of perpetual material.
There you go. Yeah. No, but hey, and I'll tell you what, if you have any questions, listener, if you want to know more stories, if you really are curious, send us an email, catsonguard@gmail.com. Check out our Facebook page. I might have put something special up there recently.
Oh, I got to go look. I haven't seen it.
I sent it to you. You don't check.
I know, but I've been busy. I got this braces now. Can you see? Oh, my messed up teeth are getting fixed.
Wait a minute. What? You're wearing braces?
It's Invisalign. It's good stuff, though.
I don't know how we got on this topic. We started off on the other end. Now we're in our mouths.
Because of that vape stick. It's making me dizzy.
There you go. It's time to take a break. Go lie down. We'll come back. We'll come back and we'll talk about other things, all right? We got a lot more coming. Until then, I am MC Howe.
Howe and Rich Million here.